I'm wondering how recognized you got and still get from Two and a Half Men playing Rose on that, because it's never off the air. It's
Never.
on all the time,
Yes.
everywhere.
I get a lot of people coming up to me and saying, my dad loves your show. It's not a lot of people coming up and saying, I love Two and a Half Men. It's always someone's dad. It's a message from someone's dad, and then a lot of pilots.
Yeah, oh, really?
Yeah, when I get off a flight, if the pilot is there to, they're like, oh, Rose, I did as big as pilots.
What do you mean you killed someone? Like you murdered someone?
I stabbed him, and now he's dead. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Who? Who?
The guy I thought was blackmailing us.
What? How? Who was he? Who was he?
Just a guy. Adam. It was the guy who I got into the car accident with.
Why would you think he was the one blackmailing you, Shauna?
I don't know. The more I got to know him, I just
Wait,
started...
you stayed in touch with the guy you rear-ended? That's weird.
Yeah, we did. I mean, I ran into him at the Jolly Hitcher, and we had a drink, and...
Wait, what were you doing at the hotel?
I was following you, Jeff.
All right, welcome to the Actor's Side. Today, okay, she falls into my category of, it's about time. Melanie Lynskey is with us. Welcome to the Actor's Side.
Oh, thanks, Pete.
And I mean it when I say it's about time. I was just telling you, I was stunned to hear this is your first Emmy nomination. I would have thought you've had 5 or 6 at this point.
That's very kind. That's very kind. No, I've had 0. Now I have 1. Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be a huge part of my career, like awards attention. So I'm obsessed with awards. I watch every awards show. I follow them very closely. I read all the predictions. I love it. But like as a fan,
yeah.
So it's a very different thing to be in the world all of a sudden.
Yeah, like there. It's interesting. Obviously, this is for Yellowjackets, Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series. Very cool.
Yeah.
And but when you talk about awards, you started your career by winning an award for Heavenly Creatures.
Yes. In New Zealand, there were 2 people nominated for Best Actress that year.
For the New Zealand Film and TV
For the New
Awards.
Zealand Film and TV Awards,
Yeah,
yes.
so,
So
I
that
mean,
was amazing. That was a lovely honor. Yeah.
to get that right off the bat at age 16.
Yeah.
Of course, that was an amazing, also, what a thing to start your career with. Peter Jackson, and both you and Kate Winslet had never made a film before.
Yeah, it was her first film. She had done a lot of like television for many, many years. So she, to me, seemed like a seasoned veteran. Like she was so impressive. She knew what she was doing. They had to give me a whole free day to learn how to hit a mark and not look at the camera, because I was so they gave me a day of just learning how to be a film actor, which was amazing.
Yeah. That whole movie was amazing. I remember
Oh.
distinctly when I saw that, and just going like, wow, it was
What a lucky break and such rich material at that time of my life. I mean, what a way to start.
And you were just like plucked out of school, an audition that came by?
Yeah, I just did this improvised audition. They didn't tell us what the story was. Nobody got a script, obviously.
Yeah.
They just said, improvise a dramatic scene around this topic. And luckily I was in a dramatic improv class. So I was like, sure. And yeah.
Did you have any ambitions to be an actor at that point? You did.
It was all I wanted.
Oh,
It had been all I wanted to do since I was 6 years old. And people kept telling me that's not actually a job. That's not, I'm from a small town in New Zealand. It just wasn't done. So people kept telling me, you've got to think about what else you want to do. So I was like, well, go to drama school. And they said, well, that's still, it's the same thing. And I was trying to figure it out. I was in my second to last year of high school, and I was like, if I'm not allowed to be an actor, I don't know what to do.
Right.
I loved film criticism. I read a lot of it. I imported a lot of movie magazines to New Zealand that would take months to get to me. So I was like, maybe I could be like a film critic. And my parents were like, are you kidding? Is that a thing? I was like, yes.
Speaking as a film critic, I'm glad you chose the profession you did, tell you the truth, so that we can see this group of amazing performances that you've done. And
It's so
I
sweet.
don't know people out there that realize that you are the quintessential character actress, I would say.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
like the highest praise I could ever. That's always been my dream for myself.
Is it to be a character actor? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you choose a role? Do you look for that when you're looking at it and, you know, and going through the script and, you know, I got to do something that interests me, that's unique, that's different?
I used to, when I was younger, I used to do things like, oh, I've never done that accent before. I've never played somebody with this type of personality. I was choosing it a lot more based on getting to do different kinds of characters. And then at a certain point, I did The Informant with Matt Damon.
Yes, Soderbergh's film.
Yes, Soderbergh's film, which was just one of the highlights of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt at a certain point said, the only thing you ever should think about is the script, because people look through your filmography and they don't go, oh, he played this crazy guy, or oh, he was so fun, you know, oh, what a great cast. They remember if they like the movie. And if the script is good, the movie's most likely going to be good. And I just was like, oh, that's so smart. And so then I really just tried to just only think about the script. And it could be like a tiny little part. It could be something I felt like I'd done before. But if I thought the script was really good and something internally kind of clicked with me, then I would say yes.
And then you get like a big lead, like something like Hello, I Must Be Going, or something like that, and you get to play something completely different.
Yeah, exactly. It all sort of fell into place, and I was getting a lot of different roles, and you know, like Hello, I Must Be Going and I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. They're both very lengthy titles, but those people could not be more different from each other. So
Oh yeah, totally. You know, when you look at the list, you've been in so many different kinds of things, you know, from Ever After and Sweet Home Alabama in the beginning, and then Flags of Our Fathers, Up in the Air, which is a great movie. I'm curious, in a lot of these American accents that you do you go in and talk like you are now, or do you?
I do. I can't. I could never. I got advised early in my career to put it on in meetings to do an American accent when I was meeting people, and I couldn't. I just felt like I was lying, and I just was like, I don't know, you know. And my agent at the time said they're not going to trust it because they hear that you're foreign, and then they're going to be listening to see if they can catch you on your American accent. But I just never could. And somebody told me before my audition for Up in the Air that Jason Reitman didn't like to cast people who were going to be doing an accent.
Oh, really?
Like he wants to cast an American. I don't know if that's even true, but I was too scared to say anything to him in the audition. So he was giving me notes, and I was just like nodding and nodding. He was like, "Oh, she's a bit weird, but I like the audition."
Well, a lot of the best acting is in silences and things, not doing the dialogue. So maybe he's going like, well, I like this. I
was speaking, when I was doing my lines, I was doing the lines with an American accent, but I was like, I can't talk to this man in between and pretend I'm from Minnesota. So I just was keeping my secret to myself.
That's another form of acting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm wondering how recognized you got and still get from 2.5 Men playing Rose on that, because it's never off the air. It's on all the time, everywhere.
I get a lot of people coming up to me and saying, my dad loves your show. It's not a lot of people coming up and saying, I love 2.5 Men. It's always someone's dad. It's a message from someone's dad, and then a lot of pilots.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, when I get off a flight, if the pilot is there to, you know, they're like, oh, Rose. I did it's big with pilots.
That was it. Did you have any idea going into a show like that? Of course, that ran for years, but you were only in like as a regular for a couple of years, I guess. And then you would pop in and out throughout the run. But did you have any idea the impact of a show like that on a career? No,
that was really around the time when I was trying to make choices based on things I'd never done before. So I read that script and I was like, oh, a multicam sitcom. I've never done anything like that before. You know, that sounds like fun. And it was just a guest star in the pilot. So I thought I'd go and do this one episode and have fun. And then they asked me if I would be a regular. And that was a bit of a harder decision. But I didn't really have a lot else going on at the time, and a regular paycheck, and I really liked everyone I worked with.
Yeah.
So I did that for 2 years, and then I was very lucky that Chuck Lorre allowed me to get out of my contract, which isn't easy, and allowed me to come and go as a recurring character. It was
a dream.
Very generous, yeah. It was a dream, and that was how I got to do all those independent movies, because I could do 4 episodes of 2.5 Men. It was like enough to pay my bills.
Right.
It wasn't like huge amounts of money, but I was okay. And then I could do independent films and not worry about the rent. So very, very grateful.
What do your agents say about that, though? I'm going to quit this very successful show and go out and make some indie movies.
I have a different agent now. My agent at that time he said, "Are you joking?" It was the #1 show on television.
Right, yeah.
They were shocked, and they just said, "Why would you do that?" And I said, "I just feel," I had done Shattered Glass. And so Shattered Glass came out, and I just was like, this is what I want. I want to do more movies like this. I loved working with Billy Ray. I felt very inspired being part of an ensemble. And I believed in that movie so much. I just saw it and I was like, oh gosh, I can't. Because, the workload on a sitcom is so easy and so fun, but it takes up a lot of the year.
Right.
22 episodes. So they thought I was nuts. And I just said, please help me.
You certainly have been very successful in movies, but you've done a lot of really interesting television roles, here 2 this year. I had Jessica Biel here a while ago, and I told her before I did that interview, I started to watch a little bit of Candy. I could not stop watching Candy.
Oh, good.
I don't binge, but I watched that thing right to the end. The 2 of you were extraordinary in it. It really intense too, as a lot of your roles are. But, that show, which is you can see on Hulu now, was a really interesting role because that character of Betty Gore was just, you could just see she was so miserable, and
well, based on the writer Robin did so much research, and there were 2 men who'd written a book about the case, and they researched extensively, and apparently she had really bad postpartum depression. She was really struggling. And I felt for her. She was a woman who loved her children, loved her husband, and just wanted things to get better and was fighting very hard to have things get better and just didn't have the resources, didn't have the help. And it really moved me, the story. And then Jessica, I just thought was so brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, just with putting those glasses on and that look.
Oh my gosh. Completely different. I feel like she's underrated as an actor. She's one of the greatest scene partners I've ever had.
Is that right? Yeah.
Like without a doubt, just electric, exciting. Like every take is different. And at the end of it, we just were like, we have to do this again. Not this, because obviously it didn't have a very happy ending, but something together. It just was a dream.
Oh, well, obviously, you can't do a sequel.
No,
but,
no. She could. She could do a sequel,
Well, she could, yeah. That physicality there, that scene, the 2 of you, whoa, I mean, really physical acting there.
We rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. Our stunt coordinator, Gael Beller, was amazing, kept us very safe. And they said that we had these great stunt doubles who were there to do a lot of the stuff, and they said in the end they only used 2 quick, cutaways of the doubles because Jess and I committed so much. We really did it. So.
Oh my God, yeah. It looked very real.
Yeah.
You pick up that axe, whoa,
What a tragic story.
It really is, and it sort of leaves it up to the audience to determine where you think it was.
Yeah.
And
I have strong feelings about it. Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't believe that was the way it happened, Candy's story. Even walking through it with Jess, it's hard to get from point A to point B in the way that Candy said it happened. I don't know.
That's an interesting thing as an actor. If you don't believe the story that they're telling there, you just have to do it anyway.
I was lucky, I think, in that the way it was being told was very much Candy's version. She's on the stand and she's like, here's how it happened. And so I, as Betty, was just kind of walking through it as an actor. Like Betty was acting, you know, and there was that lovely moment where the ghost of Betty shows up and says, "That's your story," you know.
And that was great. That was a nice touch in that too.
Yeah.
And then I got to tell you, Yellowjackets, such a well-deserved nomination. Of course, you won the Critics' Choice Award twice for this already. I had no idea when I went into it what it was. And it is very different as a kind of television series. You know, unlike anything I've seen in that genre.
Yeah, that's how I felt too when I read the pilot. I just thought, oh gosh, this is new. This is really unique. And I was so excited. And then the very first table read, I just remember thinking, oh, they got a lot of talented actors. I wasn't familiar with a lot of the young cast, but I was like, they're really good.
They're amazing.
They're
of course,
amazing.
You have the four main older actors in it that you work with here: Juliette Lewis and
Christina Ricci and Tawny Cypress.
Yeah, right. Then you have your counterpart of playing the same role younger, obviously. And I'm curious, when you have that situation, the one that plays Shauna, your character, as a teen who's in this tragic plane crash and you know not found for 19 months and really horrible stuff goes on.
Yeah.
Did you meet with her? Did you develop this character together so it's seamless as it seems?
We met with each other. Her name's Sophie Nelise. She's absolutely amazing. She's French Canadian, so we both have accents. So, you know, we both kind of had to decide what kind of American accent we were going to do. So that was a part of it. She wears contacts. She dyes her hair to look more like me. And then over the course of the first season, I found myself kind of taking things from her, because I think that over the course of the season, Shauna developed a strength that she hasn't really had since she was that age, since she was in that plane crash, and she developed like survival skills, and she had to really rely on her own self. And I think that the strength kind of came back to her. And so I was using a lot of what Sophie was doing, because Sophie has this inner confidence and this kind of fire about her that I find so inspiring. And she has a stillness as an actor that I don't really have. I'm kind of like moving around a lot. And so in the moments when Shauna had to be very clear and direct, I was trying to channel Sophie. So Sophie's
That's really interesting. So
yeah.
You were like really learning off of your so-called co-star who you're not in any scenes with.
I'm not in any scenes with, but I could see, you know, watching the episodes and then watching in the table read, I would watch her very, very closely. She was like, I would have done a better job if I knew you were watching. She was amazing in every table read. But I really was like looking to see what she was doing, because I feel like she created the character and I just kind of built on it. Her instincts are so good. She's such a great actress.
You definitely built on it, because this is a character full of secrets and lies and holding back, and you can see it in her face right from the pilot, right from the first episode when that reporter or, you know, the person comes in and tries to get you to agree to a 7-figure thing to work on a book that you don't even have to write yourself. I'd say, take it.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
But here's a character that says, no, just get out of there. So immediately you know this is going to be good. It's going to unfold and unravel. We're going to learn more. And then there's all this stuff about the marriage, which I think is beautifully played. And between you and the actor that plays Jeff.
Warren.
Yeah,
he's so good. He's so funny, and I love how that character was kind of revealed as the season went on to be this accepting, wonderful, loving man. Like you think he's this kind of cheat.
You expect that.
Yeah.
In a standard kind of thing like this, that's where you expect it's going to go, and it doesn't. It actually goes towards her, revealing she had an affair.
Yeah, and she's like, whoops.
And he sort of acts like I would. I go like, what? You mean you weren't at the book club?
I know.
Is there no book club? You know, I'll say that.
I know, he's so concerned with book club. It's so sweet. That line when I read the script made me laugh so much. I just thought, I can't wait to see Warren do this. He's so funny. And I was really moved by their relationship, the fact that she's been hiding so much from him and keeping so much to herself and not connecting. And he's known all her secrets. He's read all the journals.
Right.
He's like, I knew everything this whole time. I think it's quite, I mean, the things that he knows are really intense.
Yeah.
But it's kind of romantic. He's
Yeah.
like, I've always loved all of you. And that's the thing she's the most afraid of. She thinks she's unlovable. And here's this man who's like, no, I've been here.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for season 2 to see how that builds and to see them kind of rediscovering each other.
Which is great, you know,
Yeah.
because early on in the season 1, you go to the therapist and, you know, you're trying to
Yeah.
connect, and you can see this is a couple that, at least from her point of view, just simply cannot connect. And he's
Yeah.
trying, but, you know, it takes two.
It does. It does. It's not easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that shows that in that. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
How long do you want to play this character? Because it has been renewed, so.
Oh gosh. I love these writers. I trust these writers.
They're nominated against themselves for Emmys.
I know. They're
2
the,
scripts are.
the only show that got 2 writing nominations in the drama category. Like, that's huge.
Yeah.
When you think of the shows that we're up against, Succession and Squid Game and Ozark, I mean, Severance, which was my personal favorite show of the year.
Oh, sure.
Gosh, I'm so proud of them. And I just feel like every script got better and better last season. I couldn't wait. Like, usually I'm like, oh gosh, I got to read my script. I can't forget.
Right.
You get a script in, oh, I better read that before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I would drop everything.
Yeah.
I would be like, Jason, to my husband, do you have our child? Like, is everything, because I need to read it. And he'd be like, go. 'Cause he was so into the story, he wanted to know. So, I mean,
Yeah.
to have a job where you drop everything to see what the next thing you're going to get to perform is,
Yeah.
I'll do it as long as they want to do it.
Oh, it's so good, and you know, like I say, there's so many silences and so much that you learn about this character just watching her without having her to say anything. You can just see
Yeah.
the body language, everything in it. Have you seen the scripts for next year?
No, I
Okay.
think they're scared to show me because I don't know. In an interview, I want to like connect with people. I want to be forthcoming. Like, people ask me questions, I want to have an answer. So they're like, let's just, while she's doing press, let's just keep them from her. Because I think they've written most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know anything.
Okay, you heard it. I tried to get it out of there for season 2, but more to come on season 1 because the Emmys are happening in September, and we're going to be rooting for you and watching.
Thank
And
you.
first Emmy nomination, I still can't believe that. It should have been many more, but
That's so
thank you
sweet.
so much for joining me on the Actor's Side.
Oh, it's lovely to see you again. Thanks for having me.